my friends, and welcome back to another Sunday Reset. I'm starting off today by making a family favorite, and that is Instant Pot rice pudding. This is something I try to make at least once a week for my family. It's a comfort food, and it makes everybody feel better when they've had a really long day, or if they're just looking for a little bit of something comforting to eat. If you're a rice pudding fan, this is a recipe for you. If you've got an Instant Pot, you have got to try this. Start off with 1 cup of rice. I love to use sushi rice. I feel like it gets nice and plump and it's extra sticky, which makes it extra delicious in my opinion. Start off with 2 cups of milk. I'm using whole milk. Add in 1/8 of a cup of sugar. And then you're also going to add in 1 1/4 cup water. Give that a little stir, put in a pinch of salt, and then you're going to put your lid on and cook this at the porridge setting for 20 minutes. When it goes off, go ahead and let it naturally release for 10 minutes before opening up and adding in your last ingredient, which I'll show you later. I'm also headed over to my neighbors tonight to hang out for some girl talk, and I'm going to bring over some corn dip. This is a favorite. This is my cousin Susan's recipe, and we love it. It is highly addicting and absolutely munchable when you're chilling with your friends. Did I really just say chilling? Who says chilling anymore? Is that a thing? While you're hanging out with your friends, and pairs great with a little cocktail or some wine. That's what I had last night. So I am starting off here with a red onion. This one actually ends up being bad, so I grabbed another one from my pantry. This one was really mushy, so I threw this one away and got started with a fresh one. You need about 1/4 cup or so of raw red onion, and you're going to let it soak in some water first. This is going to help to take out the harshness. Now, I've shown this recipe before in, I think it was my 4th of July video last year, my 4th of July cook with me. And like I said, this is just a go-to. You can make this ahead, keep it in your fridge for a couple days before you go. The longer you let it sit and get cold, the better. I am chopping up half of an onion because I like a lot of onion, so I kind of just play it by ear. It depends on how strong your onion is, but I'm going to let all of this soak and use, what I need. Let it soak for about 10 minutes or so before you make the rest of your dip, and it should be good to go. You'll drain it before you add it back in, but like I said, that just gets rid of the harshness. So we're going to clean up our space here, and then we're going to start on the rest of For this recipe, you're going to use 2 cans of white shoe peg corn. You can find this just in the corn aisle at your grocery store. There are these little cans here. Make sure that you drain them. So I'm going to open those up, drain those really well, and then I'm going to make this directly in the bowl that I'm going to keep it in. So I've just got a little Tupperware bowl there. That's kind of our dip bowl. I always make our dip in that bowl. I don't know what it is, but that's what I always keep it in. So add your corn in, and then you're going to add in 1 cup of mayonnaise and 1 cup of sour cream. Now I kind of just eyeball this, and you can do the same. You can add a little bit more, a little bit less. If you want it a little creamier or not as creamy, you can use less, but this is what the recipe calls for. So 1 cup of each. Like I said, I'm just eyeballing it. Go ahead and give that a good stir. You're also going to shred in about 1 cup of sharp cheddar, and make sure that you salt and pepper it really, really well. That's really important. Always lots of salt and pepper. I love a lot of pepper in mine. And I'm using just kosher salt here. And then that's it. Let it sit in your fridge and get nice and chilled before you eat it. We like to eat it with the Tostitos scoopables, or scoops, whatever they're called. That is the best. And if you're looking for a really easy handheld cheese grater, this one here is from IKEA. I've had this for years. It's what I use when I don't need to shred a ton of cheese and I just want something, really quickly. It's like a zester, but bigger. And it works really, really well. So mix in your cheese, and then, like I said, give it a really good dose of salt and pepper, and this will be good to go. You can also add in your onion at the end. I ended up using about 3/4 of a half. Does that make sense? I cut up half an onion, and I used about 3/4 of that. I hope that makes sense. I'm not good at math. I'm sure if you're mathy out there, you can figure out what that is, but yeah, salt, pepper, and your onion and your corn dip is ready to go. Bring this to your next gathering. I promise everyone's going to love it. They're all going to ask you for the recipe, just like we do every single time I see my cousin Susan. I'm like, do you have corn dip in your fridge? And of course, she always does. It's such a fan favorite. Next up, we're going to go ahead and get started with oiling down my wooden utensils and my cutting boards. I mentioned this in a previous video, and I had a lot of comments back saying that you were interested in seeing this done. So I'm just going to gather the things that I'm looking to oil, and this can be done with any of your wooden utensils, wooden cutting boards, bowls, if you have any wooden bowls as well, and just kind of lay them out on a towel. This is going to get some oil on it, so make sure it's one that you're not going to be, upset about. And I'm using this cutting board oil here by Howard. I picked this up on Amazon. I'll have it linked for you down below. It is really affordable. It's less than $10 or roughly $10. And I'm just taking the tip off here, and all you're going to do is use a soft cloth, and you're going to buff the oil into your wood items. Now, it does have directions on the back for how much oil you should be using, how long you should let it sit. But roughly what I did was just kind of put a little bit of oil. It's like when you're staining something. Put a little bit on your cloth, rub it in. When it seems like you're having to push really hard to get some on there, put a little bit more, and give everything a really good thin coat. Now, if this is the first time you're ever oiling your items, if you're seasoning them because you've never used them before, you can do a little bit more and wipe it off, do it again. There's kind of like a process for that. It's on the back of the oil container. However, mine are just dry from washing and regular use. And my cutting board here, as you can see, has some burn marks. My son put the hot lid of something on there, so it got a little burnt, but that's okay. This is my new pizza cutting board, and we have used it and washed it already, so I'm going to give it a good oil. This is really important to do to your wood products because they are going to dry out and splinter. They are natural, so you need to make sure you're putting the moisture back into them. Just like if you have a leather couch, right? You have to put that moisture back into the natural product. So I'm just wiping a really thin layer of the oil on everything, and then I'm going to let them sit for about an hour before putting them away, and that's going to allow the oil to soak in. I'm not having to wipe any excess off because I'm not really laying it on very thick. I'm just putting enough of a coat that it is providing the moisture, but it's not oversaturated. So I'm going to do the same thing with all of my wooden pieces here, the ones that I actually use, or if they're brand new and they just need a good oiling, that's what I'm going to do. So as you can see with this one here, it's like splintered on the end, and that's because it just gets really dry. But giving this, this good little oil bath here is going to make a big difference. I could soak those that are really dry in the oil for about 20 minutes and then wipe them off, let them dry for about a day or so, but I didn't think they needed that much of an oiling, just enough to get them back in, a good healthy space. So these pieces here are new, so I'm just giving them a little bit of oiling, but this makes a really big difference. If you've never done this with your wooden utensils or cutting boards, I recommend it highly. It does make a huge difference. You're gonna love how it feels, and it's just food grade mineral oil, so you don't have to worry about wiping it off or washing it off. It doesn't need to be done. So I'm going to let these sit and air out for about an hour before we put them away, and we're going to get started with our next chore. Today, I wanted to take some time to clean my rugs. These are really, really dirty, and it's amazing. We don't use our regular shoes in the house. So what you see I have on there, those are my house shoes. I don't wear them outside. I only wear them in the house, and that's really to cut down on the amount of dirt and germs and bacteria that we bring into our house. It's amazing what you drag in on your shoes. And so I try really hard not to have a lot of shoes on our rug. It does happen, and we do have pets, and I have a lot of boys. So, it's going to be dirty, but wait till you see this water when I'm done. And so I'm just going to give this a really light cleaning. So you don't want to saturate your rugs when you're doing this because you have floor underneath. My floor is waterproof, so I'm not worried about it, but I did double check underneath and there is no water. I just put a nice thin coat and then sucked it up immediately and went over it multiple times to make sure that it wasn't saturated. And it did make a huge difference. I will say the edges of my rug today are curled, so I'm going to need to work on getting those uncurled. Once it dried, it got kind of curly, so I'm going to need to work on that. But this was so filthy, you guys. Oh my gosh. And you know what I love the best after you clean a rug or carpet is how soft it is. So, and you can see all that hair balling up there. That's just hair that doesn't get soaked up. Once it's dry, I go back in and vacuum it. It's not a big deal, but this made a really big difference. It needed to be done. And now that we're kind of in this crazy busy season, like I talked about in my last Sunday reset, I don't have as much time on the weekends right now, but we are down to 7 weeks of school. I am just, we're in the home stretch. Got to just stay focused, and we'll have the summer to get some more projects done. So taking care of this in the late afternoon after a morning full of soccer. It was a fun day. The whole family went. It was a lot of fun. So here's a look at the rug. I know that it doesn't look like it's super clean, but it's also just kind of the tones in the rug. And take a look at this, you guys. Oh, that's so nasty. Oh my gosh. It's hard to believe that that's all in the rug. My boys love to lay down there when we watch TV. And that's really, really gross. It just tells me I need to do this more often. I'm thinking maybe twice a year instead of once every how many years? No, it needs to be done. I'm also going to take a second to do the rug here in my entryway. This is from the My Texas House line at Walmart, and it's a small little runner. It is actually too small for this space. I do need a bigger runner, but it works for now. This rug was extra filthy because this is the rug that gets, walked on when people first walk in before they've taken off their shoes. So it really, really needed to be cleaned. So again, this water is going to be filthy just like the other one. Kind of gross, but it needed to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and get this really clean and then wait till you see the water come out of here as well. It blows my mind what a difference this cleaning was making. Look at that. You can see the part of the rug that hadn't been cleaned yet versus the part that had. Holy cow, it was so dirty. I was, again, kind of embarrassed. You couldn't really tell until I started cleaning, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. But it desperately needed it. And I will say it did kind of bring out a funky smell in the rug. So I recommend using the Arm & Hammer carpet deodorizer. It's a baking soda carpet deodorizer powder that you put down on dry carpet, let it sit for a while, and then vacuum it up. It just soaks up any leftover odors in your carpet. And I love to use that all the time. We use it on our stairs and upstairs, but it's really, really good to use after you carpet clean. Let your carpet completely dry and then put that on top and let it soak up any of those odors that were brought up from the carpet, and it makes a huge difference. So that's what I'm going to be doing today because it definitely has a little bit of a funk in my entryway and in my family room from cleaning these rugs. But look at that difference. Oh my gosh, it was so dirty. I'm glad I got this chore done. And again, here is the disgusting water. Oh my gosh, it was so gross, and there was a lot of dirt. So I just kept adding some fresh water and kind of rinsing out this basin because, as you can see, all that dirt was in there. Lots and lots of dirt and grime from that entryway rug. So I wanted to rinse out this bucket or basin or whatever this is called, container, I don't know, before putting it back on on the carpet cleaner. But man, that was gross. So gross, but I'm glad that I got that done. It's been about an hour or so now, so I'm going to go ahead and put all of these wooden items away. They'll continue to dry. I'm not using any of them today. They'll continue to dry and be ready to go the next time I use them, but they already look so much better and much healthier. I'm also going to take a second to refill my kosher salt here. This is the salt that I use when I'm cooking. I put it here in this little pinch pot that I picked up at Target from the Hearth and Hand line. The diamond crystal salt that I use is from Amazon. I'll have it linked for you down below. It's really, really good for cooking, and it's easy to grab and kind of measure what you're putting in your food. Now we're just going to take a little bit of time to do some regular kitchen cleaning. We're going to get the dishes done. I'm going to work on cleaning our fridge because it was really dirty. I just want to say thank you to everybody and their comments on last week's Sunday Reset, where I kind of opened up to you about where my headspace has been, and I sincerely appreciate it. You guys were also incredibly kind on the Q&A video I did with Danny. That was a lot of fun, and I think it gave you guys a chance to get to know us a little bit better, and I love this community here. You guys are always so incredibly supportive. There's always the random, not so kind comment here or there, but honestly, they are so far and few that it's so easy to ignore them because everybody else is just so kind and supportive, and I sincerely appreciate that. You guys are wonderful. I have gotten a couple comments about when Foodie Fridays are going to be back because I haven't had one in 2 weeks, and they are coming. Those videos are really hard to film and edit. They take a lot of time to edit them and film them and do the voiceover and everything. So I do really love to do them. I just want to make sure that I have the time and that I'm putting out quality content. So I have not had the time to film them recently. We have been in a principal search at school, and I've been on that committee. So I've been at work until 7 p.m. a couple of nights this week. Plus we have soccer, plus we have dance competition. So I just haven't had the time needed to film and edit those videos, but they will be back. I'm hoping to have a new Foodie Friday for you this coming Friday, so stay tuned. And if there are any types of foods that you're interested in seeing, will you let me know down below? I'm really curious to know what kind of stuff you guys want to see, and I'm always looking for ideas. I have a Pinterest board full of recipes, and I love to try new food. However, I don't want to be putting things out that other people aren't interested in seeing, because that doesn't really help you, and it doesn't help me either. So let me know down below if there's certain types of foods you're interested in seeing, or holiday foods or anything like that you're interested in, and hopefully I can make that happen for you. Moving over to my coffee bar, I of course need to do the daily cleaning of my Keurig. I don't do this every single day, but I probably do it every other day. It feels like there's always, stuff to be cleaned, but almost everybody in my house drinks coffee. So except for my daughter and my littlest, but everybody else gets a small cup of coffee in the day to help with focus and some attention struggles that they have, some hyperactivity. Having a little bit of caffeine has made a huge difference. My husband also suffers from ADHD, and he has found caffeinated chewing gum, and that has made a huge difference for him as well. It just helps him stay focused. He tried medication. It did not make him feel very good, and it kind of made it hard for him to do things in the day, if you will, but using the caffeinated gum has been really helpful for him. So everybody in my house gets a little dose of caffeine every day, and it makes a really big difference. We're going to go ahead and get started with dinner now. It was like almost 5:30 at this point. I mean, we didn't get home from the soccer fields until 3 o'clock or so when I started working on all of these chores. So it was time to make dinner for everybody, and I was keeping it super simple. I did not want to have to re-clean a kitchen. So we're doing walking tacos tonight. I have shown these on my channel before, but if you're new, this is something we typically make for when we go camping or if I'm feeding a lot of teenagers or kiddos. It's super easy. It's basically just tacos in a bag. While our meat is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and finish off our rice pudding over here. I was actually out of sweetened condensed milk, which is what I'm adding, and so I had to have Danny go get it. So this has been sitting here for a little bit. Don't do this. Don't let it sit. As soon as it's done naturally releasing, go ahead and add 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. You can also add in a splash of vanilla if you like, but this is how I prefer it, and it is absolutely delicious. You can top it with a little bit of cinnamon or nutmeg when you eat it, and it's so warm and cozy. We're going to go ahead and finish up our meat over here and get this nice and browned, and then we're going to add in our taco seasoning. And like I said, this is just tacos in a bag. They're called walking tacos because you can literally just walk around with them because it's in a bag. It's like a taco salad in a bag. You just make everything in the little Doritos bag, toss it away, and easy cleanup. This is a recipe we make when we go camping. It's usually our night 1 recipe because I can make it ahead, and then we just assemble our tacos when we get to our campsite. And it's, because of that, because it has a lot of fond memories attached to it, it is a fan favorite here in my house, and it really keeps cleanup extremely easy. So we're going to make our taco meat, and we'll assemble up our assembly line, which is just going to have all of our toppings. And then, like I said, we're going to make these in Dorito bags. You can find the boxes of nacho cheese Doritos at your local grocery store typically, or at Walmart. I get mine at Price Chopper. And then we're going to top it with cheese. I've got shredded lettuce, sour cream. I'm going to dice up a tomato. I'm going to put out the hot sauce. You can add in whatever you want. Pico de gallo. I typically will put a little bit of lemon juice in mine, a little bit of fresh cilantro, and easy meal. Their cleanup is extra easy, and it's perfect on those days that you've been out and about working all day and you need something super simple. You can even pre-make your meat and have it in your fridge and just heat it up the day of, and it's good to go. So simple, easy cleanup. What more can you ask for on a busy Saturday? right, my friends, that brings us to the end of this week's Sunday Reset. I hope you found some motivation, either if it's in food or getting something done on your list. I hope that I was able to motivate you and also give you a little piece of relaxation and peace in your week. I sincerely appreciate you being here. I would love for you to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know how you're doing down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a fabulous day, my friends. See you soon.